what he's created is very strong and is going to continue.
And he's created a team that competes at the elite level. And that's synonymous with Subaru. Like it's part and parcel. Possum is Subaru.
last year, this year's second must be first next time. Ladies and gentlemen, the top three from New Zealand. Second place, Possum Bourne, off to the Australian Rally Champs next week.
That's the way it is sometimes, you know, it wasn't our day, simple as that. But, you know, we still got out of it pretty good, only 7 seconds behind and second, that's fine.
Heavy overnight rains meant the roads would be treacherous. And as a precaution, Possum and Vincent had fitted narrow mud tyres.
30. Short 5-6 right.
Flat crest, then danger, left 5 on crest, stump on right, road narrow, enter left 5.5 on crest, don't cut.
Also on narrow mud tyres, Neil Bates and Coral Taylor were able to match the time of Bourne and Vincent. But as the morning wore on and the roads became drier, the conditions suited the Toyota, winning stage 2 by 1 second from Bourne. The third test of the day suited the Toyota, and at the end of the 12-kilometre test, he had put another second on Bourne to lead by 2.
There's 3 stages left, but you know, when it's that tight, all the stages are important. You know, we do a long stage and there's 1 second difference, and we do a short stage and there's 1 second difference. So you know, every second counts.
The problem is the one out of character, you know, well, you can see, what you can see is all right, but it's when you get halfway around the corner and it turns to a bog, it's a bit hairy.
Bates went into the service with a 2-second break, whilst ahead lay the final 3 stages of the rally. Once again, tyre choice would be critical.
The hardest decision today is tyre choice, and you know, that could make or break it, because the weather's sort of a little bit unpredictable and we've got a mixture of some really wet patches and some reasonably dry patches, so it's actually quite a difficult call for a tyre to suit the stages, and because you're doing groups of stages, whatever you choose will be a compromise. It's just which way to jump.
With the final stages run on roads with lots of surface water, the choice for both teams were deep-cut tyres.
I think that the next 2 stages are slippery, and we really made the decision after running through them yesterday for the second time that we would probably run on mud tyres today regardless of what happened last night.
Well, the gravel tyre's made when you push the gravel out of the way and it gets down to a hard pack, whereas this has the ability to clear the tyre from any mud that or clay that might hang onto the tyre. It's actually a very wide pattern.
The final stages of the Falcon Tyres Queensland Rally would highlight the tightness of the Super Series. 2 different crews, 2 different cars and 2 different makes of tyres. First up was the 6-kilometre branch. Again, equal times for the Toyota and the Subaru pairing. The next stage distance had been cut in half by the organisers due to the rain. The stage was muddier than the first 4 stages of the morning, and with the cars so close, once again, setup was critical. The Subaru revelled in the conditions, setting about erasing the 2-second margin. By stage end, he had exceeded his goal, winning the stage by 5 to take a 3-second lead into the final stage.
7-8 left, 40. Caution, 4-5 right, tightens to 4 right late. Caution, slippy 5-6 left.
The final stage was the second time around the Forest Drive stage. In the first attempt, Bates had gone quicker, and with Bourne only leading by 3 seconds and Bates breathing down his neck, the pressure was on. Bourne charged through the muddy stage to win by 9 seconds, and more importantly, win leg 2 by 12.
It's worth a lot because it's worth 8 points, and it sounds a bit odd, but now we're equal instead of being 8 behind.
Possum did a better job than us on the last 3 stages, and you know, I tried my best and didn't have any problems, so I deserved the win.
You know, another day in the car and it was feeling good. So the second day we went for a softer anti-roll bar on the rear. We didn't have another soft one for the front, and I just dug deep and took a big breath, and we managed to win the second day. But that was a turning point because it pointed us in the right direction. That, hey, the car's too stiff in its rockability, if you like, its weight transfer, and that's where we sort of focused on the rest of the work and getting the car to work better.
Diamonds on the
hard to make it. I'd like to put New Zealand on the rallying map. Absolutely. I've been given something and there's people that say you can't do it. Well, that's the best thing they can say, because that makes me fight harder to prove that we can. While I can be competitive and I feel I've done a good job inside myself, I'll be right there.
Hi, I'm Possum Bourne. Ask any of the world's top rally drivers where the best roads in the world are, right here in New Zealand. Yeah, if you look at the opposition in that, yes, exactly. It was, and the conditions weren't that easy either, which is what I like. You know, it was tough and a lot of competition, and we still ended up with what we consider to be a fantastic result.
It looked like there were really scarcely any bad moments for you. Is that the right way it really was?
I had a spin and install in Wonga Coast. It was really the only real moment. Yeah, I mean, you have the odd little didn't realise the corner was going there, or just little things here and there. But generally, we had a really good run.
Some great moments like the super stage the other night.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome to lead a World Championship rally. Doesn't happen every day, does it? Especially not in that competition. I was absolutely stoked. this is home. You know, I don't think any sportsman can say they don't enjoy coming home. After he was born, I went up and just stood there for an hour and watched what was happening. Go to sleep. For us, it's better if it's difficult. You know, if it's more narrow and twisty and quite difficult to get out of the corners, and that it seems to suit us better. You have to throw everything into it, and I put every single thing I had into it. I still got a bit to go, but I reckon we can make it. We don't talk about it, but they're in the back of your mind. You know what risks you take, and you just got to get out there and do your best. The challenge is the motivation. You know, I've been given something and there's people that say you can't do it. Well, that's the best thing they can say, because that makes me fight harder to prove that we can.
Canberra's Exhibition Park for an epic battle. They would watch a twin-track challenge to equal the best super stages seen anywhere in the world. By the end of leg one, Possum Bourne was in front of Dom Buckley by over a minute 20, with Yoshimura Kataoka 37 seconds behind in third.
We got our finger out in the night stages and went as hard as we could in the dust, trying to make a decent break, and then had some fun out here at Epic. It was great.
Before the leg two start, Bourne's lead had diminished, incurring penalty time for pushing his car out of the Parc Ferme after flooding the engine. That minute he had taken away meant he was just 27 seconds up on Buckley.
New Zealand Championship in 1991, Possum went on to win 3 Asia-Pacific titles, and for 7 years has been unchallenged as Australian champion. This year he was going for an 8th Australian title, but the real challenge was his first ever production World Rally Championship.
We are really lucky. We've had so much opportunity come our way. People say it's luck, but we've worked damn hard for it as well. But we're there and we're doing what we want to do, and we've achieved a dream.
He was also living a dream, racing against 1984 world champion Stig Blomqvist.
Just think about that for a moment. You've watched an idol in your sport from the side of the road, dreaming about having a go at that sport, and here we are competing against him for a world championship, you know.
What's your name?
It's a measure of Possum Bourne's humility that he never saw himself in such a way, an idol to others.
No, I've not heard of him say a cross word about anyone, and yeah, it's pretty well as simple as that, I think.
Marty Rostenberger's one of the many New Zealand drivers for whom Possum has been a mentor.
You'd sit there spellbound as a wannabe rally driver, listening to not only one of the world's best, but a Kiwi as well.
Possum had and still has tens of thousands of fans. They not only love the way he drove, they love those Possum moments. Like this near miss in Hokkaido, Japan last year, not just for the fact that he managed to avoid the photographers, but for this very Kiwi reaction afterwards.
These camera boys shat themselves. So did I.
And to Possum, the fans were another reason to push on for success.
when you're driving through the stages and you see the people with the cowbells and waving flags and that, and you get it in the peripheral vision and all that, it's a buzz, it's uplifting, it has to be. You know, they are willing you on. And the mental side of winning is all about being confident and believing in yourself. And if you've got 100,000 people that are willing to stand in the cold and the rain and the dust and the stones on the side of the road that think the same, man, you know, they think it, so you've got to believe it, you know? And it helps you believe. You know, you must. You can't talk it. You have to feel it. I'm telling you, that is our absolute and utter goal.
He was soon on attack for the title, taking maximum points in Rally Canberra. He was the best of the APRC regulars on Rally New Zealand, 6th outright. His return to China for the first time since the old Hong Kong Beijing days got off to a spectacular and successful start. Possum winning the opening super special stage, watched by a huge crowd. This was Possum in his element. What better way to follow up a day of enjoyment behind the wheel than to relive it with some of your mates, who just happened to also be his rivals. Aussie Formula 2 Volkswagen campaigner Simon Evans seemed more like a teammate than one of the opposition.
They all expect me to be off in the tree.
Possum won the rally by more than 12 minutes. At Rally Malaysia, it seemed that his championship sponsors Caltex had cheer squads on every corner. After 5 years away, Possum was again making his mark in Malaysia, even with a mystery problem in the Impreza. And when he won the rally, it guaranteed the APAC title would be his, just a few days after wrapping up another Australian championship.
Oh, no, yeah, well, anything worth having you have to work for, don't you? And the team and everybody worked their backsides off this weekend, so team effort from everyone. Yeah.
He relished the prospect of a flat-out drive now in the Thai finale, with nothing to lose. And he got exactly that. Mechanical problems costing him hefty time penalties and forcing a final day charge. The setback saw former APRC champion Karamjit Singh go 3.5 minutes clear of the Kiwi. It would be virtually impossible to catch up in 74 kilometres, even given the superior performance of Possum's Group A Impreza over Karamjit's Group N Plus Proton. But Mark Stacey and Possum went for it anyway, running at a blistering pace. And when they failed by 36 seconds to overtake Karamjit, it took nothing away from Possum's joy.
Oh, we didn't think we had much hope, but you never know, the half spin or anything, you know. We just went absolutely ballistic in the last tick of it. Wasn't quite enough by the look of it. Yeah. But hey, that's what it's about. Part of the fun of the sport is having the challenge thrown at you and then trying to respond to that and fighting back. And I think there's nothing better than being in the car when you're absolutely on the limit, the notes are good, the car's good, and you're driving well, and you get to the end and, well, you come second. But it was worth every bit of it because you got the thing by the throat and made it work.
There've been more Possum wins. His 6th and 7th consecutive Australian titles, for instance. And a victory on Japan's Rally Hokkaido in 2002. Victory too in 2001 in his beloved Race to the Sky, the event he rated his all-time favourite.
Lifted above his head. Possum Bourne.
And he scored his biggest coup in years, winning Subaru's backing for the 2003 production car World Champs. He'd scarcely got started on his dream when he died. Possum Bourne had a talent for getting on with it, for putting a positive on negative situations.
You know, it's the old story. You can't, getting mad about it ain't going to fix it. This is what you got. This is what happened. Do the best you can with it.
This possum philosophy seems to have passed on to his oldest son, Taylor, who came to Dad's aid when his 2002 race to the Sky Hill climb ended in another puncture on the final run.
At least you've already won one.
There's another lasting memory from Canberra 2001. Possum was bitterly disappointed when he couldn't secure the backing to defend his Asia-Pacific title that year. But he didn't exactly fall into deep depression. He was too busy enjoying himself, learning to get the best out of his new Subaru WRC, and indulging in a little showy stuff for the camera on the finish line of one stage.
But yeah, that was a good last corner. Thanks, we like that. We appreciate it.
I could tell by the look on your face.
So this then was the Possum Bourne we all knew and loved being around.
Not too bad. This stage we'll be fine. The rest it'll just get worse when we get into the bush. That's all.
Right and long, 3 left. 40.
Bourne and co-driver Craig Vincent in the ex-Colin McRae WRC Subaru Impreza grabbed a 1-second lead on the 9.4 kilometre Shelter Road stage.
5 left. And 3-4 right.
Stage 3, Gauge Ridge, was just as slippery. Bourne again quicker than Bates by a second on 3. He now led by 2.
Long 5 left in. 5-6 short. 30 long, 5 left in.
I'm just not confident enough yet, you know, but we're getting there. That was better than the one before.
Bates had fitted a special narrow mud tyre and for stage 4 had been cutting into Bourne's slender lead. But near the end of the Gentle Annie stage, he began having gearbox problems.
200.
No, gears above 4.
Right 5.5, left 5.5.
Possum took a 3-second stage win to increase his margin to 5. Bates's crew changed the gearbox at the service, and by stage 5, the 26.4 kilometre Arrawara, they were now back on the pace.
Hump, left 3 on crest. Left 5. Into right 5, left 5.5.
But he hadn't counted on the Kiwis' resolve, as both cars tore through the long stage. The gearbox problems of earlier had resurfaced for Bates and co-driver Coral Taylor. At the midpoint in the stage, despite this, he grabbed back 8 seconds to lead by 3.
Then left 6 on crest.
Yeah, I was pretty happy with that one.
wouldn't want to go too much harder.
Even though he lost the lead, Bourne was happy with the race thus far.
40.
I'm trying to drive myself, push myself to be a bit more confident with it, and we just got to see how it goes. It felt not bad in that stage. It was pretty slippery in a few places at the start. We were a bit careful, but where it was good, we give it the best we could.
Special stage 6 saw the advantage back to the Subaru camp. 3 seconds quicker than Bates, it was even Stevens again. Stage 7 was the second to last stage of the day, and more gearbox problems for Bates. With nothing above third gear, Possum was able to get a 28-second advantage.
Then left 4.5, stay in, right 6. Then left 4.5, stay in, slippery.
The last stage of the day was just under 6 kilometres long, and Possum and Vincent in the Subaru could afford to cruise. Or could they?
Yo, but...
Despite leaving the road, Bourne was able to restart and go on to win the first leg of the '99 Australian Super Series by 53 seconds.
He has got a lot of talent, a lot of skill, but he has a huge passion for the sport as well, you know, and he bubbles away in the seat there, and it's out there. I think as he's got older, he's got a bit more mature about it all as well now, though, and there were days, I think, when he used to think, I'll grab this car by the scruff of the neck and shake it around and see what we can do, but as he's got a bit older, I think he's got a bit wiser and realised that the car can actually do a lot of work for you, and I think that's helped him a lot over the last few years, where he's gone away from trying to actually destroy this car. And to be fair, with having the pressure off of probably being in the World Championship team over the last 4 years, it's really made him come out and prove that he can be a very, very good and consistent driver.
They're commitment cars. To get the best out of them, you got to really commit yourself, and we haven't even driven the thing in a rally yet, so I was pretty nervous about the whole thing, but in the end we won, but luckily, but in the end I was very happy with the way it went, because we didn't chuck it off. We were getting the hang of the thing. I found it quite difficult to drive in those conditions, especially to start with, and it seemed to require just a little bit more of an ease driving style, not jerky chucks and things like that. You couldn't do that. You've just got to ease it into the corners, and it seemed to work better. So we were getting there, and then overnight, obviously it rained again, and then they had to cancel the second day, so we didn't get a lot of miles in it, but we learned a lot about the car, and there was a lot of work to be done for the next round.
The Subaru revelled in the conditions, setting about erasing the 2-second margin. By stage end, he had exceeded his goal, winning the stage by 5 to take a 3-second lead into the final stage.
7-8 left, 40. Caution, 4-5 right tightens to 4 right late. Caution, slippy 5-6 left.
The final stage was the second time around the Forest Drive stage. In the first attempt, Bates had gone quicker, and with Bourne only leading by 3 seconds and Bates breathing down his neck, the pressure was on. Bourne charged through the muddy stage to win by 9 seconds, and more importantly, win leg 2 by 12.
It's worth a lot, because it's worth 8 points, and it sounds a bit odd, but now we're equal instead of being 8 behind.
Possum did a better job than Dennis on the last 3 stages, and I tried my best and didn't have any problems, so I deserved the win.
So we'd like to take time now to pay tribute to the sporting life, to the one and only Possum Bourne.
Right 6-7 and left 7 long over the small.
I know Roger really wants a good one. I want a good one, and we've been prepared to work really hard at it. And the guys really tore into it, and I was totally impressed. You know, that 22 minutes and 20 seconds, I think it was, to change the gearbox and clutch. I need a hand to get through this thing, you know, which is what I do in a lot of events when I've got a hell of a challenge in front of me. You know, I look to Roger for that motivation and support to get me through.
Top New Zealand driver Possum Bourne gets the thumbs up from a local fan on the roads where the Kiwi learned to drive rally cars.
Left over crest 60, 7-8 right 50, 3-4 right flip, 5 left flip, 5-6 left hand, 5-6 right flip, 4 right and
Touching 180 kilometres now through the finish line, 56.99. He breaks the 57. He wins the Ashley Forest Rally Sprint.
At the end of the day, you have to have these sort of things happen because it is emotional, and if you don't get any emotion out of the good and the bad, then what the heck are you doing there? And the bad things make you realise how good the good things are.